the Mercedes-Benz W123. Some people call it one of the best cars ever made, and with good reason. Others might just see it as a boxy, practical car from the 1970s. But spend a little time with it, and you start to notice why it earned such a reputation. The solid build, the reliability, and the way it quietly became a part of people's lives. From busy city streets as a taxi to family cars that lasted decades, the W123 proved it could do more than most cars ever could. Today, we're going to dive into what makes this car so special. At first glance, the W123 is understated. Boxy, simple, nothing flashy, but there's a certain presence about it. Close the door and you feel the solidity. Sit inside and it feels quiet, composed, like it was built to last. Even in the 1970s, when many cars were prone to rust or mechanical issues, the W123 immediately gave the impression of quality. It wasn't loud or dramatic, but it had a confidence that owners could trust. Under the hood, the W123 was practical brilliance. The diesel engines were legendary for durability. Taxi drivers in places like Cairo and Berlin routinely ran hundreds of thousands of kilometers on the original engines. Some cars even crossed 1 million kilometers without a full rebuild. It wasn't just luck. Mercedes designed these engines and gearboxes to be overbuilt, simple to maintain, and highly durable. The suspension was reliable, the electrical systems straightforward. For owners, this meant years of worry-free driving. This practicality is part of why the W123 earned such a loyal following. People knew they could depend on it. Safety was already a priority in the W123. Crumple zones, a reinforced passenger cell, and optional ABS brakes were included at a time when many cars didn't even have proper headrests. It wasn't just about protecting the driver. It was about keeping families safe, especially for the people who used it daily.
The W123 didn't stay in Germany. It became a global car. In Africa, it was the backbone of taxi fleets, handling heat, dust, and rough roads with ease. In Europe, families drove the same car for decades. In the Middle East, it was both a symbol of reliability and status. Across continents, it adapted to harsh conditions and still performed consistently. That's a rare quality. A car that can survive the extremes of the world while staying reliable and usable. There are smaller details that often go unnoticed but made a big difference. Some engines had dual oil filters for extra longevity. Chassis reinforcements minimized vibrations. Wiring was laid out logically for easier repairs. These touches weren't flashy. They weren't meant to impress anyone at a glance. But over decades, they added up. They helped the W123 last far longer than most other cars of its era. The design has aged remarkably well. Square, simple, instantly recognizable. It's not a car that tries too hard. The proportions are clean and balanced. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg for attention. But it still looks solid, trustworthy, and elegant. Even today, a well-maintained W123 can stand out quietly, simply by being what it is. By the time production ended in the mid-1980s, nearly 2.7 million W123s had been built. And today, thousands are still on the road, not just as collector cars, but as daily drivers. It's easy to see why the car has earned lasting respect. It wasn't about being the fastest or the flashiest. It was about reliability, comfort, practicality, and thoughtful design. The W123 quietly proved itself over decades, across continents, and in the hands of millions of people. And that's why, even today, it's remembered and celebrated as one of the most remarkable cars Mercedes ever made.